If you love dragons, betrayal, sizzling tension, military academies, and a main character who just won't quit, then today's book just might be for you. Today, I'll be reviewing Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Welcome to Spencer Reads Everything. I'm your host, Spencer Duncan, and today's book is Iron Flame. It is the highly anticipated sequel to Fourth Wing, which is, of course, the viral fantasy phenomenon that introduced us to the brutal world of Basgiar War College and the iron-willed Violet Sorrengail. If Fourth Wing was about surviving, Iron Flame is about understanding what you're surviving for. Let me provide you a summary, and of course there will be some spoilers. It is hard to discuss these books without having spoilers. The novel picks up immediately where Fourth Wing left off, with Violet and her friends reeling from the revelation that the war they've been fighting is built on lies. The government has kept the truth about Venin, who are powerful magic users who feed on energy, referred to as reaping, a closely guarded secret. And even worse, they're scapegoating the resistance, labeling them as traitors. Violet returns to Basgiath under immense pressure. She knows she has to keep what she learned at the end of Fourth Wing a secret or risk being executed. As you recall, her brother Brennan, once thought dead, is very much alive and part of the rebellion. Also, her lover, Xaden, is also a major figure in this resistance, and his secrets run deep. As a second-year writer, Violet is thrown into even more brutal challenges. The physical tests are ramped up, the academic load is doubled, and her enemies, both peers and professors, are watching her every move. Lieutenant Colonel Corey, a new instructor, emerges as a mysterious and formidable presence who clearly knows more than she lets on. Violet struggles with her growing powers, specifically her lightning wielding. The bond with her dragons, including Taryn and Andarna, deepens, but Andarna is going through something strange and alarming that affects both Violet and Taryn. Tensions rise in her relationship with Xaden. His secrecy, along with his role in the rebellion, causes frequent friction. But their chemistry continues to burn hot, and Rebecca Yarros doesn't hold back in giving readers steamy moments. As the story unfolds, Violet uncovers disturbing information about how the government uses and manipulates writers. One of the more shocking reveals involves conscription and the forced suppression of magical abilities. There are several characters' deaths and betrayals, and a growing sense that Basgiath itself is unsustainable. The last act takes a dramatic turn. Violet and her friends are sent on a mission that exposes the terrifying extent of the Venin threat. The story escalates with more battles, missions, and supposedly world-changing discoveries about how the Empire uses writers and suppresses magic. Then there's a big fight, a dramatic death or two, and the book ends on a massive cliffhanger that's meant to be shocking. But, at least to me, it was more confusing than shocking. So here's my take. I'm just going to say it. I really, really did not like this book. In fact, I think it's worse than Fourth Wing. And here's why. I went into Iron Flame hoping it would fix some of the issues I had with the first book. Namely, the underdeveloped world building, the really, really, really juvenile dialogue, and just the flat characterization. Instead, it amplified those flaws. Let's start with Violet. She tells us she loves her squadmates, but her interactions with them are shallow and completely forgettable. There's no actual chemistry or meaningful conversation, just bland banter and endless recaps of how much she trusts them without showing us why. And the wit, I kept waiting for it. Instead, I got a main character who sounds like a 12-year-old who just discovered swear words. Sarcasm doesn't land when you have to tell me it's sarcastic. It feels like the book is trying way too hard to sound edgy, but it's all surface-level bluster with no depth. The spicy scenes were already not my thing in Fourth Wing, but in Iron Flame, they're even more awkwardly placed and even more tonally jarring. The book will veer from the world is ending to let's sneak away for sexy time, like Whiplash. But what bothered me most, the world building. I still have zero sense of where we are in time. Is this a post-apocalyptic world, a magical empire, a dystopian military regime? I don't know. I don't even really know what the dragons are or why they work with humans. The political structure, the military chain of command, the goals of the rebellion, the mechanics of magic, all of it is muddy and contradictory. And as far as emotional growth, Violet has been through multiple traumatic battles, lost friends, made enemies, and uncovered massive secrets, and yet she still acts like she's in middle school. She doesn't think or speak like someone who's gone through what she's supposedly endured. Iron Flame had the chance to build on the hype of Fourth Wing and elevate this story into something more complex. Instead, it doubled down on the flashiest and the weakest elements. And it's just a very shallow drama. It does have those spicy romance scenes, but in this case, I felt like they were completely unnecessary, and in many cases, they very much detracted from the quality of the narrative. And the dialogue that just made me cringe. Oh, so much cringe. Almost every dialogue was painful to read. With that in mind, who is this book for? Well, readers who loved The Fourth Wing and want more of the same and didn't have any of the problems that I had. Or people maybe looking for a fantasy romance heavy on the romance, or fans of dragons or boarding school drama, or you don't really care if there's actually very good narrative involved, you just want those spicy sex scenes, then this is going to be for you. Who is this book not for? Well, it's not for me or for anyone that likes good literature. Readers who want mature or emotionally grounded characters, you're also not going to find it here. Or anyone who needs clear world building or just consistent storytelling, also not going to find it. And people who find excessive cursing or over-the-top romance frustrating, especially when it is definitely distracting from what could have been a quality narrative, you're also not going to enjoy this book. And any reader who is looking for real growth in character or plot, you are going to be sorely disappointed. So that's Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, a book that had massive potential and massive hype, and for me, massive disappointment. If you disagree, I would love to hear what worked for you in the comments, but if you're someone who bounced off of Fourth Wing, I'd steer clear of this sequel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and until next time, keep those pages turning.